Hey y'all, Southern Style Gaming here, and in today's video I'm going to talk about another one of those sort of ideologically conceptual ideas. I just now realized that's kind of redundant, but either way, in today's video I'm going to talk about what I like to call brand disdain. Now this is going to be kind of in the same vein as the ID amnesia video, where it's just something that I personally kind of came up with and I sort of just like, and I want to see if there's anybody else out there that kind of feels the same way as me here. So, brand disdain is basically the polar opposite of brand loyalty. So, in a consumerist society such as the United States, where I live, there is a lot of brand loyalty. Like, you'll see this all the time. I mean, as gamers, we probably know better than anybody. Brand loyalty. I mean, that's the basis of the entire console war. I mean, you've got people that will die by the sword, it seems like, for Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo. It seems like they will go down with the ship when it comes to certain consoles. Now, there's a lot of us that aren't like that, and that's why I actually say the gaming sphere is actually not the worst when it comes to brand loyalty, but I'll get to that in a minute. But it is probably the most obvious to most people, because it seems like gamers are the loudest about it. You know, PlayStation fanboys, Xbox fanboys, Nintendo fanboys, they are all jacking off their respective companies to just a ludicrous degree. And even when they make mistakes, like, it's kind of crazy how they'll stand by it. Like, look, I'm not gonna lie, my preference is personally Xbox. But the Xbox One was kind of a major misstep. And I'll be completely honest with you, I'm not a big fan of any of the new generation consoles. Like, I don't own one. I could have owned one at one point, but I choose not to, because there's really not much of a reason. Like, I haven't seen any games that aren't available for Xbox One or PS4 that I just care to make the next gen jump to actually get. Like, I just don't care to do that. But the industry, I guess you could say, where I see brand loyalty at its absolute most fervent, absolute, sometimes just most disgusting, is cars. Now, this is, I think brand loyalty for cars is absolutely crazy. Because, like, this is marketing at its finest. Like, these companies have got their hooks in you. Now, there are some car companies that are legitimately better than others. Otherwise, I wouldn't suffer from brand disdain for a couple of these companies that I'll get into in just a second. But I do think that it's a bit crazy to say, oh, well, I'm only ever going to own Toyotas, or I'm only ever going to own Mazdas, or only ever Fords, or what have you. For the rest of my life, that's all I'm ever going to own, no matter what. Like, I just find this so crazy. But for me, I do have brand disdain for a couple companies. These are companies that I will never buy from again. And the biggest one when it comes to cars is Kia. I will never own another Kia for as long as I live. And I will take that with me to the grave. I will never own another one of their vehicles. And the reason why is because a couple years ago, my wife got, okay, well, not a couple years ago, actually it was 2020. So yeah, 4 years ago. My wife got a Kia Sorento. It was a 2014. It was one of those 4-cylinder gasoline direct injection engines. And the thing apparently had a ABS recall or something. I can't remember. It had something to do with the brakes. But, so basically what happened is we drove it for about 6 months. And mind you, we put less than 10,000 miles on it. And we had just gotten the oil changed and the motor locked up. Less than 6 months we have owned this thing and the motor locked up. Like, the thing is now a yard ornament. And from what I've heard, like, from what I've heard since then, like, I've talked to other people who have owned Kias, and they've all said, yeah, Kias are junk. And I believe it, because my experience lines up with that. Kias are junk, and I will never own another one. Another vehicle that, not from personal experience, but just from what I have seen with what others have experienced, I will never own again, is a Dodge or Chrysler. So I work for the post office. I've mentioned that a few times in my videos already. And I have seen so many people get like Dodge Caravans, and they've all just been riddled with problems. From the older ones to the newer ones. Probably my best friend at the post office right now. He is legitimately having to run his heat to keep his motor from overheating because he can't figure out why his motor is overheating. Like, he's checked the catalytic converter, he's checked the radiator. They cannot figure out what's wrong with the stupid thing, but it will overheat if he doesn't run his heat. And it gets hot here in Tennessee in the summertime. And, you know, we're going box to box, stopping every few seconds. Like, you're not getting air circulation in there. Like, I'm sorry, that sucks. Like, my Toyota truck, you know, it doesn't get air, but at least I'm not having to blow my darn heat. Like, my goodness, this kid, he's a champion. Like, I don't know how else to put it. But then other than that, I've also seen left and right people have transmission problems with Dodges. And that's why there is one exception to this rule. I will say there's one Dodge vehicle that I will own. And that would be a Cummins Ram. The diesel motors that they make for the Ram trucks, the 25 and 3500 editions. The second generation in particular is what I would like to own. But even then, standard transmission. I'm not dealing with their automatics. Like, I'm sure their standards probably have issues too, but at least they'll be cheaper to fix. You know, you won't have to go and replace the whole automatic transmission. That would be a whole headache. But another one is Nissan. My mom had a Nissan Quest, and it's really been nothing but problems. It is also currently a lawn ornament because of transmission problems. And again, this is something that I've heard is pretty common. Nissan's Jatco transmissions are crap. This is just what I've heard so many mechanics say, so many people in general who have owned Nissans in the past. They say that when Nissan went to manufacturing their own Jatco transmissions, they got so bad. And like, somehow the Nissan trucks have actually been exempt from this. Like, all the problems that you find with the other vehicles in Nissan, like the Frontiers and the Titans, are apparently still really solid vehicles. But the passenger cars and the SUVs and stuff, I've heard, just stay away. Stay away from them wholesale. They're not good vehicles. They're kind of made to be like Toyota minus. So like, they're kind of comfortable. They're pretty zippy. But overall, they're just not really good vehicles. And so I won't say never, because I wouldn't mind owning an older Nissan, like an older Frontier. They're little, not necessarily a mini truck, but like a compact. I don't know. I guess it would be a mini truck, or is that reserved for like the Japanese ones, like the little Kai trucks? It doesn't matter. Anyway, other than that, I will probably never own a Nissan passenger car. I will probably never own a Quest or not an Xterra. What are they called now? Armadas? Whatever the SUVs are. I will probably never own one. And yeah, so that is basically my explanation of brand disdain. These are brands that, rather than brand loyalty, which I feel like is very much a product of marketing, brand disdain, I think, more so has to do with personal experience, which is why I think brand disdain is just, it's more honest than brand loyalty, because like I said, brand loyalty is like marketing. It has a lot to do with marketing. Your personal experience, like, you can have a good personal experience with something, someone else can have a good personal experience with something else, but you will discount it because of what you know about your thing instead of their thing, because they know about their thing and you don't. You know about your thing, they don't know about your thing. So, you know, that's just, in my opinion, how that goes. Which is why I think brand disdain as a concept is just, in general, more honest. Now, me personally, I don't necessarily have brand loyalty to a vehicle. Like, yes, if a Toyota is available, I'm probably going to take it. But, I mean, if I can find a car a little bit on the cheaper, like an older Ford or Chevy, like a 90s Chevy truck, I'd love to have that. An older Ford vehicle, maybe not their passenger cars, but like, even then, like, I think their older passenger cars are okay. I personally would not I'd rather own like a metric passenger car, I guess, from like say Honda or Toyota. But yeah, that's basically what I've got to say about that. Like, I wouldn't mind owning a vehicle from any of those companies. Like, they're fine. But I do have certain companies that I will never buy from again. So, yeah, I guess that's the video for today. This might actually be coming out a little earlier in the week, and my video next week will probably be a little shorter as well, because I will be having to help my wife with a school project. She's currently taking a film class in community college, and she's having to make a student film, which will actually be uploaded to my channel. So, you know, just be looking out for that if that's the kind of stuff you enjoy. And yeah, I guess that's all I've got. So, with all of that said, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Hope y'all got something out of it. God bless, and have a great day.
This transmission has been intercepted by the Jamestown Coalition. Your location has been identified, and authorities have been dispatched. Surrender if you know what's best for you.